Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, before we start this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching the show. If you are watching the show on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure you hit the notification bell, because that helps all things YouTube. I have been watching the analytics on YouTube, and there are a lot of people that are new viewers that have not subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And again, I thank you guys for tuning in and watching the show. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in Houston, Texas, and I have with me Santee from Santee TV.
Hello.
What's your real name?
Latoya.
How do you get Santee from Latoya?
Well, I don't know. My mom, they just do whatever. We have Latoya. I have Latoya Santee, but I've never told them that though.
Okay. This is a Riding Shotgun with Charlie exclusive.
Exclusive. Yes. Exclusive.
Santee, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Charlie.
I love that. It's great. All right, let's do this. It's great when more people watch the show. It's great when people that are in the biz find out about your show, and you actually reached out to me. You're like, oh my God, I love these. These are great. When are you coming to Houston?
Yeah.
And so we finally got to make this happen, and I wasn't so sure because I don't know what happened. I messaged you on Instagram. Do you have more than one Instagram account?
I do.
I see. I don't know.
But only one Santee TV one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. I know I messaged you on one. And we messaged back and forth, and then that one disappeared, and I'm like, did she cut me off?
Really?
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either. I don't know. I tried. I'm like, I know I sent her a message. Like, we talked about this.
Wow.
And then lo and behold, I'm like, all right, I'm going to send her a message again, and here we are.
Thank goodness. And thank goodness for the NRA, and thank goodness you didn't call the police on me for stalking you. Because
look, when I am a single man. I encourage it.
Charlie, I will do it.
I know.
I will be the one.
Particularly from married women.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Charlie, you out of control. Thank goodness for the NRA. I mean, you went in there, right?
Yes, I did. So we are finishing up here at the NRA Annual Meetings in Houston, and you didn't make it, did you?
Yeah, I went.
You barely made it.
Yeah, I went yesterday and then today.
Oh, you went yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went from the whole thing. We started on the left side yesterday, ended up in the middle, and then we started on the right side and ended up in the middle today. It's just so much. You did it all in one day?
No, I got here Thursday with some friends, and I want to thank Rob and Amanda from Eye on the Target Radio for letting me use their stagecoach while we're here on the road in Houston. And so we got here. We walked around just to check everything out, and of course we have no game plan, so we're here and then here and then here and then over here and over here. So we did that on Friday, and yesterday was a lot of preparation for the Concealed Carry Fashion Show.
Oh, it was here?
It was here last ago.
See, I'm missing out on all the good stuff.
Yeah, so Amanda Suffolcool and I, again, she's from Eye on the Target Radio. She's been doing concealed carry fashion shows, and so I'm able to connect with her, and we have a lot of fun.
Nice.
And so she's one of these people. She's like, I need people to do this. I'm like, whatever you need, I'll do.
Nice. So did you walk down the runway?
No.
I
emceed.
Really?
Yes. That's how I roll, girl.
Nice, Charlie. But you have the voice and everything else, the personality, all that stuff for everything. All things.
Right. All things entertaining, all things funny, and it's mostly just my looks. But
Charlie.
But yeah, so we emceed the first one. A little history with the fashion show is the first one I did with them in Cleveland in 2017, and then we did one in. Man, these roads are bumpy.
I know.
This has got to affect my audio. So we did one in 2017 in Cleveland, and then we did one in Dallas that year. We did one at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Then we did one in Chicago. Then we did one in Phoenix. We've also done them in Orlando, and we've done them in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Good night.
So yeah. So now we got Houston. Adding that to the list.
Houston's checked off. You have to come back too, so I can go and check it out.
Yes. Yeah. So if all things go well, then this is going to be something. She's done them at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. She's done them at the NRA for the last couple of years as well.
Very nice.
She did them in Milwaukee and in Indianapolis.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're not here to talk about me in the fashion show. We're here to talk about you. So how did you become a gun gal?
Oh wow. So long story short, well, I can give you the long story.
We got time.
Okay, good.
The batteries are brand new. We got time.
So actually, me actually owning one was like, I don't want to say a tragic event because nothing, you know, but it wasn't really tragic.
It's your destiny. It is your destiny.
No, right. So when I was a single mother, I had my 2 sons. We were in an apartment, and in the apartment complex, you had like the stairs for whatever reason had like, it was enclosed, and so you walk in or whatever, and then once you get to the top, then it's opened up, right? Well, my sons had went outside to go play, and it's like right when they went outside, I heard a gunshot, and so I'm scrambling around, you know, trying to find something. Like I went to the kitchen and got a knife, and I'm like, you know, your children are outside, you hear a gunshot, you're gonna go out there, right? So
right, you're gonna go out there with a knife.
I go out there with a knife, and I'm running around like looking for my children. Thank God they were okay, but that's what in my head I was like, what? Even when I was walking out the door, I said, what am I gonna do with this? Like, what in the world? So I go outside. They were great. They were good. But when they were going down the stairs, they had to have seen the people who were, you know, who came up. Because okay, so what happened was this guy, my neighbor, he had got shot through his door. So when my children were going downstairs, I didn't find it out until like days later. So my children were going down the stairs. They had to have passed those guys up because it was 2 guys. They found out it was 2 guys, and they shot the guy through the door. And so like I said, thankfully they didn't harm my children, but it was scary for me because I'm like, what am I gonna do when I need to take care of me, my children, anything that's in this house, whatever, this apartment. And so I was like, this isn't gonna work, you know. So after that, that's when I went to the classes, got my concealed handgun license, and then I went straight to academy and went and bought a firearm, and it was a Taurus, PT-111 Taurus, and that is my favorite gun out of all the guns I have.
Really?
Till this day. Yes, because I relied on it so much. It means so much to me because it gave me confidence too. Like for real, like you know, I wouldn't call myself a scary person, but you know, it gave me confidence to know that if in the event that I would have to use something more than a knife, it was there for me, you know. So that's how I ended up getting started into owning one myself. But growing up, you know, we had firearms around and stuff, but I never owned one. But that was how I actually started with it.
Okay. Yeah. Now you said you have some military experience too, right?
I do.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for thanking me.
Oh, please. I'm a wimp. When I was in school, when I was in high school, my game plan, if we were, oh my God, what was it? I think it was Desert Storm. That's how old I am.
Okay.
But it was Desert Storm was about to happen, and I'm like, all right, if there's a draft, I'm signing up to be in the Army band, and I'm going to I'm either going to Canada or I'm signing up for the Army band, and I'm going to go play with Bob Hope.
Charlie, that is funny.
Like that was my plan.
That is funny.
Like I'm not an aggressive guy, and I'm not anything like that, and I wasn't a gun guy. I just at the time all I wanted to do was play music, so I'm like, I'm gonna go play with Bob Hope. Like,
nice.
That'll be my gig.
See, but it's needed though, because that's good for morale. You know, here's some good tunes.
This is
keep up the spirits.
Right. It's needed as well.
Yes.
But I wasn't brave enough to do something like that. So Air Force. How long were you in for?
Well, I went in reserve, and then they called us up to active duty. See, I'm only 21. See,
all right.
So, sorry, let me stop playing.
So how long you been 21?
About 21 years, you know. cut, Charlie.
Right, no, that's in.
Yeah. So yeah, I was in the reserves, and then they called us up to active duty when 9/11 happened. So I was active duty 2 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was there for I was in the military for 8 years. That's all I'm gonna say. For 8 years.
Oh,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a great experience. That was the first time I ever shot like a rifle.
Yeah.
The M16s at the time. I don't know what they use now, but I know they don't use M16s anymore.
Right.
It was the M16s, and it was awesome. It was a great experience.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you got out, and then where does life take you from there?
Well, you know what, Charlie? This is absolutely an exclusive because I've never told anyone this.
These are my people.
Well, I'm a probation officer here in Houston.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to work with, with the community, and I feel like this is a great way to do it because where I work now is like we're a residential facility, but there's, on probation or whatever, but, it's awesome. I get to, talk to the different people who come through and, hopefully get them on the right, hopefully something that I tell them or an experience they have with me, we can get them on the right track to,
straighten life.
Yeah, and get back to
cool.
living life instead of just, going through life in a fog.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yep.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
All right, and so that leads to you, you have the kids, you have the boys.
Yeah, and I have a daughter now, though.
You have a daughter now?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have a daughter, hopefully. That's it. Yeah. So I have 2 sons and a daughter now. Yeah. Knock on wood.
So I'm a happily divorced man.
Yeah.
Yes, and after we had a son, and then about 20 months later we had our daughter, and then my wife decided that our birth control method would be abstinence.
Oh my!
So
well, that'll work. that will do it.
It did not work.
It didn't work.
Anyway,
not for the marriage, but for the babies, it worked.
Right. Well, it didn't really work for the marriage either. But
no. Okay.
Anyway, that's all right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So having kids changed my life. I will tell you this. How old your girl?
She's 6.
6. Girl.
I know, Charlie.
Is she like you? She got your kind of attitude?
Yes. It's 10 times worse.
That's gonna be a problem.
I know, because she's so friendly, which I love.
Yeah.
Like, you're a little bit too friendly now. Calm down. Like, but she's very friendly. And she's just like me. Like,
that's
times
cool.
10.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All that stuff changes, by the way. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, I know.
Give it 10 years.
I know, I'm scared of that.
Oh, man.
I'm scared of that so bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna work with it.
It's, yeah. Kids are great. I cannot imagine my life without my kids. So, anyway, so you got your permit. What do you have to do? What did you have to do to get a permit? Now, I got a couple questions here. Texas is now permitless carry.
Yep.
And I know that sometimes there's a big debate between constitutional carry and permitless carry. What do you call it down here in Texas? Before this, what do you call it? Is it permitless carry or constitutional carry?
We call it constitutional carry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But basically, I mean, yeah, we call it constitutional carry. That's what I've heard everyone call it. But before, we would go.
Yeah, what did you have to do before to get a permit?
Yeah, you would have to, like, there was like this background check thing, and then you have to get your picture taken, and you take it in. What I did was I took it into the gun range, and we had to sit through like I think it was an 8-hour course, and then sent the information off. You have to do a little bit of shooting.
Yeah.
They sent the information off, and then like maybe 2 weeks later, you'll get your.
That's it. 2 weeks.
Yeah. You have to qualify with the fire in the handgun, but other than that, I mean, it was pretty easy. You just have to pay attention and.
That's cool. So I've talked to some friends. I live in Massachusetts, and it's a wildly anti-gun state. But I remember telling some friends of mine from Texas, I'm like, hey, listen, here's what you have to do to get a gun license in Massachusetts. I hope our Attorney General doesn't listen to the show. I'm sure she doesn't because she's an anti-gun wacko. I call her an AGAG.
What is
Anti-gun Attorney General. She's the AGAG.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, and she in Massachusetts, all it is 4 hours of classroom. No live fire, no.
Really?
Yes. So even though it's there, we can't have Kimbers, we can't have New Glocks, we can't have standard capacity magazines, we can't have all this nonsense. But I always tell folks, I go in, I teach, I do a 4-hour non-live firing class. I tell you stupid jokes and dumb stories about guns. I give you the certificate. You go to the police, go through the application, spend $100, fingerprint, photograph, 2 background checks. The state makes the license. They send it to you. You get your license. You can go to the police station. Or sorry, you can go to the gun station. You can go to the gun store. Holy moly, dude. You go to the gun store, buy yourself a gun, buy yourself ammo, buy yourself a holster, and you can start carrying that day. And then people. So there's no live firing. There's no live fire requirement.
Really?
Yes, and it's an anti-gun state of Massachusetts. No live firing in order to get a license.
Wow. So you go through 4 hours.
4 hours. It's loaded. I call it rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Oh my! Like, hey, here's a rifle, here's a shotgun, here's a handgun. Here's how they work. You gotta load it, you gotta unload it. Here's how ammo works. Here's how you keep everything stored. Cleaning's the easiest thing to talk about because I always say, look, I use 3 or 4 guns and semi-autos in the class. I'm like, they all come apart differently. We call it RTFM. How to clean the gun? RTFM. Read the fricking manual.
Okay.
Right? Because they all come apart differently. So if I sit here and show you how to take a Glock apart, and you buy a Walther, useless. So read the manual. Here's how you clean the guns. You gotta follow here's the stuff you're gonna need. You gotta take the gun apart. You gotta put it back together, and that's it. Oh, and then we have to go through a bunch of the Massachusetts laws. The laws are very confusing.
Really?
We have the chief of police can put restrictions on your permit. So you can have a license to carry, and it's only to carry back and forth to the range, which is ridiculous. But
good night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So they put their own laws on top of the laws that you already have.
If the chief of police wants you to learn how to ride a unicycle and juggle, you got to learn how to ride a unicycle and juggle. Yeah. So
the chief of police, so if it changes, then you'll have a new set.
Yeah. If when the town that my first ex-wife and I lived in. When we got our licenses, the chief of police only accepted his class, and I think I went out of the class stupider than I did because I'm like, all right, I don't know anything about a gun, I don't know how to load it, I don't know what gun safety rules are, but I know you can't shoot someone in the back.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to shoot, let alone shoot someone in the back, but okay, this is what it is.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's set through 4 hours of class, and we got our licenses, and that chief was an anti-gun chief, and he didn't want people carrying in his town, so everyone had a restriction on your license.
Wow, to the gun range and back.
That was it.
Oh.
And I didn't go anywhere. I went to the range, I went home. I didn't go grocery shop, and I didn't stop and get gas, because I didn't know, and I didn't want to, I obviously didn't want to get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
So here in Texas, it was 8 hours some live firing, and then 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks until you get it in the mail. Yeah. But see, it was the good thing about our class, you know, once you go in, they do all of the other stuff. So we didn't have to go to the police station to get anything done. You just filled out the forms, and they take care of the rest of the stuff. It was pretty easy.
That's cool.
Which was great because, you know, I don't know, I probably still would have, you know, gone through the process because I've had so many incidents where I needed one.
So people live such interesting lives. I have the most boring life in the world.
Oh man, Charlie. When I was like maybe, I don't know, I was in elementary.
When you were 21?
Yeah, 21 minus like a couple of years, okay?
It was before 21. We only have two.
It was before at 21,
it was before 21 and after 21.
Yeah, just a few years ago, okay? There was this guy, you know, he thought someone in my household had stole his little radio. And back then that was a radio, like you put the antenna up.
Yeah, it was a radio.
Yeah, it was a real radio. Yeah, you have little batteries and you put in the back of it. And so he came to the house and he was just like, he shot out all of our windows. He shot all.
Shot out the windows?
Yeah.
What's wrong with this dude?
He was, I don't know. He was older, and I don't know. You know, when some people get things in their heads, that's just it. They believe what they believe. And he came to our house and he shut up all the windows. He walked around our house and shot the windows out.
So that's a problem because the bullet is gonna break the window and then come into the house.
Yeah. While we're crawling on the ground.
Oh my God! Did this guy get arrested? Did you know who he was?
We knew who he was. He was like 2 doors down. My mom, you know, she's a softie in a way. Yeah. As long as you know you're not messing with her grandkids. But you know, everybody was in the house. I mean, we were real
Everybody
small.
was in the.
Yeah, everybody was in the house. Even my grandmother was there, and we were all on the ground. You know, low crawling through the house, trying to figure out which side is he on. Yeah. But yeah, the police came, and when they came, you know, he apologized, and when he came, they were like, "Do you want to press charges?" And my mom was like, "No."
Oh my God!
And back then, they just let him go back home. They let him go right back home.
Did insurance? Who paid
I
for the
don't even
windows?
know. I think my mom paid for the windows.
Oh my God!
Yep. It was crazy. So you know.
Yeah, that is nuts.
A lot of times people. That's why I don't understand. Like a lot of times people say, "Oh, you don't need one," but you never know. You never know.
You never do. I mean, that is the deal. It's we all know the phrase. It's better to have one and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Absolutely. You know. Absolutely.
And it's not. This is one of the things the protesters that were here this weekend. They think that we're all bloodthirsty killers. And if they really thought we were bloodthirsty killers, would they want to push our buttons and call us murderers and?
Did you hear them?
I heard some of it. There was one woman that she was flipping me off. Oh, she's flipping everybody off. So she was flipping me off personally.
She probably was, Charlie. Like she was. I'm sorry. Like they were.
Well, she wasn't close enough. She had to lean over the car to get an extra, 7 or 8 inches.
Oh, so she really meant it.
Yeah, she really did. She really meant it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They
were cursing. They were like.
Yeah, there were a lot of bad words. I saw some signs that said like F. Greg Abbott, and yeah, there was a lot of F words on the on the signs they were holding up.
And that's amazing to me because they were so vicious with their verbal attacks. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. But they're standing across the street saying.
And I think, look, I think they're absolutely. They should say what they want. Like I don't have a problem with that. But oh man, we all have our. We all want to get our 15 minutes of fame, and this person's 15 minutes of fame is going to be yelling, F the NRA, and that's how we're going to remember them.
Yeah, and what I don't understand. Maybe I know I don't even want to talk to. I have family members that don't like firearms too, but they're not like that. They're just like, they're pretty much scared of it. That's the reason why. So, but when I see things like that, I'm like, good night. Like,
yeah, these people are nuts.
Yeah, I mean, they are just. I'm trying to like wrap my mind around. They call us all these names, and they're so mean. And we're just walking through, like, not bothering anybody. Like, why don't you go to the areas that's, really out there doing a lot of crazy stuff to people? And how about you go and do that in that area, and protest there instead of protesting at an NRA event that is, we're over here by the jails.
Oh, great.
That's one. That's the other one. That's another one back there.
I wonder why this is a dead end road.
Yeah. See the detention center.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. You packing?
Oh yeah. Well, oh no, I left my whole purse. Look, Charlie, I was so excited to see
gosh.
You. I'm so excited to see Charlie. Right, Charlie, do you know how long I stalked you? I think my first video I saw.
It's the statute of limitations passed.
Oh my. Okay. The first video I think I saw was. No, it wasn't with Jerah. Oh my goodness, Jerah is awesome. Awesome.
So, I secretly may love Jerah Hutchins.
We love her. We love you, Jerah.
I know.
That was
She's
awesome.
pretty badass. So, this is the ridiculous of my life. When I have women on the show, I'm always fun and I want to have a good time and I want to have laughs and everything. But I'm pretty sure she could kick my ass.
Oh, Jerah. Okay. I think she could probably kick 80%.
I think she could too. I think she could too.
Oh my goodness, she is awesome. And then I don't think that was my first one though. I can't remember, but I know you interviewed Brooke. I would love to listen.
Oh, Brooke Cheney.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's awesome.
Have you connected with Brooke?
I haven't. I look at her videos and stuff like that on YouTube, but I haven't really, had a chance to, sit down and talk to her. I would really like to know what she thinks about the guy out there in Uvalde. Like, because he has to have like a mental health.
Yeah.
Something was going on, and that's back to the protesters. I'm like, what we have a problem with is it's not gun control, it's not the firearms, it is, I believe, when people do things like that, it's mental health. Like, what is going on? It was
what
something
is going on with them that they want to hurt and kill people.
Exactly.
Like, really?
That clicks in their heads.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do because that's not normal. And they just, I don't know. But I
don't know. I'm a big fan of Adam Carolla, who's a podcaster, and he's in my eyes, he's a bit of a libertarian. What I love about him is his stance has been the same on everything for forever, and it hasn't changed. But then everything changes. The political persuasion changes, and the tides change, and then all of a sudden he becomes a conservative. But he's like, I've stayed the same the whole time. And he says, listen, if you see one of your friends who's overweight and they lose weight, and he says, you see him a year later and you say, oh my God, you lost 30 pounds. How'd you do this? He's like, well, diet and exercise. And he's like, how do we fix all these problems we have? Keep the family together. Keep the family together. And it's not, my take on it is this: I think the father has just as much rights as the women do, or as the mother does. So yeah, that's my take on that. Like, I fought for my kids for 50% of the time.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Because I'm like, look, I'm maybe I was a bad husband. I'm not a bad dad.
Right.
I taught my kids to swim. I taught them to ride a bike. I did Boy Scouts. I coached soccer. I'm not going to be a bad dad, and I don't think I should be punished for being the dad, and because we're getting divorced. So 50% is what it is. And the last year we were together in our house, the last year that we were together in our house, I got up and got the kids on the bus to school. I gave them breakfast, I got them lunch, and got them off to school every day before I headed off to work. And then 4 days a week I was home to get them off the bus when they got home.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm like, so I did have this moment. My wife doesn't watch, or ex-wife doesn't watch the show, so my kids don't either, by the way. But
oh no.
but I told my attorney, I said, listen, 50-50 is what it's going to be. I get them Monday, Tuesday, she gets them Wednesday, Thursday, and we split the weekends. 50-50 is what the deal is. Yeah. And they came back and like, she doesn't want to do that. I said, okay, I'm as a teacher, I got mom's hours. When there's a snow day, not that you have them down here, but when there's a snow day and I don't have school, I don't have to work. When there's school vacation, I don't work. When it's a weekend, I don't work. When it's a holiday, I don't work. So I can have the kids. I can have the kids full time, and you can get them Wednesdays and every other weekend. Yeah. And so she's like, okay, so 50-50 will be good.
Oh, then it's changing.
So yeah. So anyway, I do think people need to keep the families together, and a lot of the it seems like a lot of the males that I don't want to call them boys and I don't want to call them men, but a lot of the males do these mass shootings, and they it seems like they all come from a home without a father. Yeah, and there's got to be something to that. There's a little bit of diet and exercise there. There's a little bit of you need to keep the family together. And boys, I grew up without a father. My dad died when I was 8. And all of the issues that I have with relationships and whatnot are because I didn't have a strong male influence.
But how do you teach them? If not, okay, because like in life, things happen for whatever reason. If unfortunately death happens, and just different things in life happens. To where how do you get them to the point to where they can be okay with that? Like, what do you do in between that time of them being okay, from them being hurt to them being okay, that period of time in between there, when things like this happens? Like, what do we do in between that time, you know?
Look, I can't fix all the problems, okay?
Yeah, but like, 'cause sometimes I think people just need sometimes to vent or have someone to talk to. Oh my God,
absolutely.
And,
I have
things like that.
So for me, it was a lot of work with.
You see them in the street.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
I don't get it, man. For me, it was a lot of work on making myself a better person and happier with me. And I used to listen. Oh my God, I used to listen to Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
I have these cassette tapes of Zig Ziglar. He's a motivational speaker, and one of the I still have this cassette tape. It's called "Be a Winner," and I'm like, I want to be a winner. So I listen to this cassette. I'm 14 years old listening to Zig Ziglar, and I eventually want to know when I am going to be a winner. Like this is,
Charlie, you are already a winner, okay?
When do I get my money back? Like, really?
Right. Look.
So to me it was I need to have confidence in myself. I need to improve my outlook on things, and that. To me, that was probably what got me through a lot of stuff and made me start to not that I was going down a bad path in life, but it's what got me through being a boy that needed to have a fatherly influence. Oh my God, wait, let's talk about guns. My God.
Okay, right. Okay, I got you. Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I do think we need to keep the family together, and I think that's part of one of the issues with the males that go out and commit these crimes.
Yeah.
So there.
It's something else. Well, to talk about guns, we're switching the subject to guns.
Right.
Charlie, did you see the Kalashnikov? What is it? Kalashnikov?
Kalashnikov. Yeah.
Kalashnikov chaos.
No.
That was my first. I saw it online.
These are pretty cool Corvettes. Like, who are these guys?
Doing? They want us to drive one of them. Just give them to us.
Oh my gosh. I did not see.
It's called a Chaos, and it is awesome. I just saw it today, like in person. It's very nice.
Nice.
12 gauge.
Really?
Yes.
A Kalashnikov shotgun.
Yes, it's at NRA right now. It's calling my name.
All right.
Get me.
Right.
I have to get one. I'm just kidding.
Christmas is coming.
I know. That's
Mother's Day just passed.
Yeah.
But, Christmas is coming.
I put on my Instagram, "Dear Santa."
Right.
This
is what I'm looking for.
This is what I want.
I'm looking for. That's cool. All right. So getting into the things that are on your Instagram. You started a YouTube channel. I did. And tell us about that.
So I started YouTube last year in January, and I started by really my sons. They, play video games all day, and I was like, you know what, y'all need to do something different. And I like to lead by example. And honestly, my sons were like, you need to start it. They didn't want to start one, and they were like talking about how hard it is and stuff like that. I'm like, whatever, you need to start one. So I ended up starting one. Didn't know what I was going to do. But one day I went. So
hold on, you wanted them to start a YouTube channel
doing anything.
Doing anything.
Just anything, like do something. I mean, because something. YouTube, they have everything. Really gaming, because that's all they do all day. I'm like, you can do something else. Just do something. Something. Right. And they didn't want to, and my son was like, you do it. They didn't want to do it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to show you that you can it can be done, and you can do it. So that was accomplished later on, but I started, and my husband and I, we went to, and we would make little videos. It was pretty much nothing. Excuse me. And then my husband and I, we went looking for ammo one day, and I was recording it, like our process of going through looking for ammo. Yeah. And then people started clicking on it. I'm like, you know what? They want to see this. They want to see the gun stuff, because we go to the range, we just didn't record it. So I was like, they want to see the gun stuff. So then that's when we just started doing gun stuff. Taking the camera out more often when we go. Yeah. And I was like, well, shoot, this is easy, because we love doing this, so I mean, this is all the time. But then the more and more I got into it, the more and more I started thinking, there has to be a purpose. And that, I mean, I already know my purpose, but for me to put it out there to the world, like, this is something that really we take seriously, and hopefully by showing our journey and showing what we do, because we have fun. We always have fun when we go. And it's not all about, God forbid, we don't want to harm anybody, but we are going to protect ourselves. So
yeah,
that's what we want. We want everyone to be able to protect themselves. I always say it's not about, you know, race. It's not about social class. It's not about any of that. What it's about for me is the good and the bad. If you're out there doing something to somebody, you should get the reward for doing something bad. So if, you know, we have the good and bad out here, the good people out here living their lives, I feel like we should start winning. Yeah. And what way to start winning when you start fighting back with someone trying to do something to you. So yeah, especially women though, like single mothers, women in general, because you know they try to get us, Charlie. They try to get us a lot.
It's sometimes I'm baffled when I hear some things guys do to pick up chicks. I'm like, the women fall for this? Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
They just they just, you know. Some of them don't. Some of them don't.
It's a little ridiculous, but yeah. So I'm a firm believer. This was one of the things for me. So I didn't become a gun guy until after I became a father. And for me, it was, I have these 2 kids I need to protect. Yeah. I have these 2 kids I need to raise. They're my responsibility. I need to be able to protect them. I need to be able to protect me, so I can protect them. Right. And that's kind of the process that I took in order to get to the point to be, you know, become the gun guy that I am. Yeah. You know, and I like teaching, so eventually teaching gun classes was part of the process.
Right. So you're an instructor too?
I am an instructor.
Wow, Charlie.
I know. I keep.
And then I
not
think
bad for a white boy.
You're awesome. I think I asked you this already about riding shotgun. How did that come about?
So I was working in. I went to Toastmasters. Toastmasters was another thing that I did to build confidence in myself and learn speaking skills and ended up learning some leadership skills. Okay. And I did this manual called Communicating on Video. And I had to interview someone for 5 to 7 minutes and be interviewed by someone in a talk show, radio, talk show format. And I had to do that, and there were a couple other videos that I needed to make. And so I said, you know what? James Corden does the carpool karaoke, and I'm like, he's chubby in English, and I'm like, I'm chubby and I speak English, so I can do what he's doing. It doesn't look that hard. I'm driving around talking. Come on, I do it all the time. Yeah. So that's how I had the idea, and I told my friends, I said, I'm going to start a show and I'm going to call it Riding Shotgun, and then that was taken. So I'm like, I'm calling it Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Absolutely. And that's how it came about, and nice. I ended up. I interviewed Ken Blanchard, the black man with a gun, and I interviewed Anthony Calandro in 2016, and then in a month later, I went to Minneapolis and I interviewed Mark Walters from Armed American Radio, and he's like, hey man, this is really cool, I want to help out with this. And I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but okay. And then he called me 2 days later, and he's like, do you want to speak at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Tampa? Yes, I do. I spent all this, oh my gosh, by that time I probably spent at least 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years working on speaking. Nice. Yeah. Do I want to go somewhere else in this country and speak? Yes, I do.
Oh, Charlie. So that'll be nice. Do you know the British muzzleloader?
No. See, this is the whole Olympic ring circle. Yeah. Like, you have people in your circle that I don't know. I have people in my circle that you don't know. Yeah. And we all, I call it, we all need a pull of Rodney King. Can't we all just get along? Yeah. You know? British
muzzleloader, I believe he's still in Canada. Okay. When I tell you he's so nice, we went to the Gundies earlier this year. Yeah. That's where I met him at, and it was like, I met him without, he was in regular clothes, and I was like, I've seen him before. I kept saying I've seen him before.
What does he usually wear?
Yeah. Oh, Charlie, I wish I had my.
All right. We'll find some pictures and we'll put some up.
Yeah. So he
gets all done up.
Yeah, he has it. Yes. I don't know what they call it, but he's awesome, and that would be awesome. Like to drive around Canada with.
I'm game for anything.
That'd be dope. Look, I'm over here talking. That'd be dope.
Right. You gotta start booking my gigs, girl.
I know. Like Charlie's gonna be in your town.
Right.
Yeah.
Get together with
that'll be nice, Charlie. Or you can go to England and be driving on the side of the road.
And that could be dangerous.
Those taxis, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what they call. Do they call it taxi? I don't know what they call it. That'll be nice, Charlie. I love your show, and I love the people that you bring on because they are so knowledgeable in firearms, and all of them have like different reasons of why they got into it. Yeah, it's just It's lovely.
It's
nice.
You know, we all have our own story. We all have our own
Yeah.
story. So, and it's good to get it out and tell people why we do this. And
Heck yeah.
yeah. So how often do you put shows out? You put out a lot of stuff.
I'm just all over the place.
Oh my God.
Because I'm always running my mouth. You know, I am. I'm like, let me show them this. Like, I just get on there. I really just show my journey and how I don't want it to seem intimidating to people. I want them to know that this is what we do, and I take it seriously. Like, we go to the range, you know, a lot. And when I'm there, you know, there is a purpose, you know, and
Right.
but at the same time, when we leave, you know, we have fun. Like, I always say, once I go to the range, I always think about, that's why I'm so big, because I'm thinking about food. So I automatically think, you go to the range, then you go out to eat. You go to the range, you know.
Oh my gosh. So when my kids were young, I was, you know, divorced, and the kids were young and they couldn't stay home by themselves. I would drag them to classes I was teaching. And then the deal was my son would, if I was doing a Utah class, my son would fingerprint people, and my daughter would print out the certificates and do the data entry.
Put them to work, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm like, all right, here's the deal. Well, we'll stop getting. No, when we'd go to the range, I would take them and stop at McDonald's and get $1 ice cream gum.
Yeah.
And then when they started helping out in classes, then I had to feed them.
Okay.
You had to upgrade. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to get more people in the class, kids. Either we're hitting the drive-through, or we can go to a sit-down. You know, it wasn't too many people were hitting the drive-through, and more people in the class, we'll go to a sit-down place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, get some positive reward.
Yeah. And that's what it feels like. Like, you know, when you finish, like, a lot of times I would go, before I started YouTube, I would go after work because I would be so stressed. And I just go to the range, and it just felt so good. I felt good, you know, afterwards. Yeah. So I was like, you know, this is there. It really
is therapy. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I sometimes ask people in class if they know what AR stands for. And I give them choices. Of course, I give them assault weapon, and of course, I give them assault rifle, and or automatic rifle, and then I say, does it stand for American rifle? And then I say, does it stand for anxiety reducer? And then I say, does it stand for a-hole remover?
Oh, yes.
And does it stand for anti-riot?
Oh, yes.
I'm like, oh, AR, anti-riot. Because when there's a riot and you pull out an AR, the riot goes away. Yeah. Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to turn here. Look, we are almost out of time. We're almost back to where we need to be.
It's so beautiful here, too.
This is kind of cool.
This is your first time in Houston?
So I came to Houston one other time, about 12 years ago. Someone stole my identity, and at the time, I was all for letting them have it. Oh, no.
Like, that's yours now. No take backs.
No take backs. Exactly. So I came down for that, and I had to testify. It was this guy that racked up $50,000 of credit card debt at a furniture store, and this was a scam because he was doing this to a bunch of people. Wow. So they ended up, you know, connecting me to him, or connecting him to me, whatever. And they wanted me to come down and testify that I was not this person, and I didn't do this. Wow. So I said, yeah, sure. So I didn't know how court works. Like, I didn't really watch, you know, court TV or whatever. So we went into this thing. We went and talked to the people. And I don't know who it was, but they asked us all these questions. And one of the questions they asked me was, what do you think of the gun? I said, I'm a gun instructor, and I'm a teacher and a gun instructor. And one of the questions they asked me was, what do you think of the gun laws we have here in Texas? So,
was that a trick question?
It was not a trick question.
No? Okay.
But I didn't know they were asking these questions, you know, one day, and then they're going to ask them in court. So the next day we're in court, and they're like, you know, what's your name? Where do you live? What do you do? Yada yada. And they said, you know, do you do anything else besides be a music teacher? I said, yeah, I'm a firearm instructor. And the guy says, what do you think of the gun laws we have here in Texas? And this is the answer I gave him. I could smell the freedom when I stepped off the airplane.
Oh, yes. Right?
The judge laughed. The jury laughed. The defendant laughed. Like, the whole courtroom laughed about this. And it's I'm sure it's in the court documents. But yeah, what do you think of the gun laws we have here in Texas? I could smell the freedom when I walked off the airplane.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, that was the other time I've been to Houston.
Wow.
So I think it's great down here. A little warm for this boy from the north.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, it's a little warm. Yeah, it's a little warm. Anyway. anyway. All right, listen, how can people find you and all your Santee TV?
That's why it's TV, because it's just everything, pretty much just everything. Yeah, we just have fun. But you can find me at Santee, Santee TV, on YouTube, the Santee TV on Instagram. And we just try to have fun, try to, you know, let people see the fun that we have in the 2A community, and
absolutely,
hopefully it won't be so intimidating to them.
I tell people I'm trying to bring fun ownership to gun ownership.
Yes, absolutely, Charlie. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, because it is fun.
Santee, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to put links to all this stuff. Thank you guys for watching the show. I'm so glad we finally got this to happen.
Yes.
I love meeting my stalkers in person.
Thank you so much for not calling the police on me, okay?
I would not.
Thank you.
There were no threats.
Right.
Threats of a good time. No.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching the show. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, you can join at saf.org. You can donate to the Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms, the CCRBKA. You can find all of your favorite podcasts at sdrn.us. That's the Self-Defense Radio Network. And make sure you check out Santee and all the on Instagram and on YouTube and all the cool stuff, and check out what she's doing. Because your circle's not my circle.
Yeah.
And we need to make our circles bigger.
Yes, really. Unite.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right,
I really appreciate you.
Thanks. We'll talk to you guys later.
See y'all later.